volume for me there, please? Just a little bit. Look here, up the chair. Just a little. Okay, it's not disturbing anyway. It's not. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. So here am I for do a quick if I can do a quick monologue and that come from make I engage with you this morning. It's gonna be quick. I can say quick, but not the end of it quick, but I will try for make I know take a long time in doing this, and I will try for record so I will share with the people who know they watch. And I know a lot of people know they watch live, but if they watch me, please now for send stars. Like I said last few days, I get plans for create a bigger platform because I get a lot of things there for discuss. We get too much stuff there in our country and around the world, different subjects where are capable for share that information there. So in the last few days, I've been on talk about climate change. Last week, day before yesterday, I discussed issues related to global warming and climate change because we see a lot of events that go around the world, the heat, we see a lot of rain, so people are not know why, and we can always put them to natural causes for say due to a lot of natural problems they happen, they result to these events really happen and catastrophic, they kill people and they die, and they cause sicknesses and other negative events that come out of them. But scientists or scientific study don't prove say a lot of that which happen so non-natural, not due to reactions. So if we go back to the pre-industrial era, industrialization following the end of slavery and slave trade, where the West will begin to make goods and they sell them out and they're all over the place. That period, in the note from the 1880s, they understand say there's been a shift regarding the nature of the heat and the globe, i.e. the warm. So from the 1880s to this time in the 21st century, notably from 2012 to 2015, then note say there's been a lot of heating. We don't really do a lot of stuff where don't affect the environment due to the global, the warming where they go on. So that's not the thing. Now, as I've been saying, I did try to engage with WUNA and try to bring information which relates to which they happen so in the world currently. When they say they bring this particular information in different episodes, the aim now for making people understand, we'll just come straight away. You can't say the rain they come because so, and in fact the effect of it. So even I see what we begin, begin talk about what the weather means, what climate means, and I bring a discussion about global warming, how the globe they warm. So we talk about greenhouse gases, we talk about different gases like methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide. So, and then we see how the deforestation, all in the, we to say, not able, the elements that would trap the carbon, where they contribute to this, the heat, where they feel so, and in turn they affect, they lead to ordinary rain or catastrophic events then they happen So we talk about that. And then we talk about climate change generally, the variations regarding extreme heat and extreme heavier rainfalls where they come. So that then one in the variabilities then where they happen. In today's discussion, I want to take a little bit of bring two subjects here. The first one, the role where the international community play, where they don't observe, say there's a problem. And so international governments, government internationally, organizations, institutions, after we then recognize, say, the need for act. Because after the industrial age, before the pre-industrial age, the final say, there was nothing the world they worry about. Now they talk about global warming. Things in there are zero. Because we get a lot of forests, they don't get industries where they emit, because the industries they use coal for power them. And so they begin notice that coal they emit emit gases them where they cause the globe for warm. So it comes to a point where they realize this is unbearable, because things must actually be arrested in the sense that take concrete actions, for involve everybody so that they will able to address this issue. And so I want to talk a little bit about it. But so after, the other thing I want to talk about is following the in addition to the role where the international community play for create institutions, also institutions will exist for empower them and try to do something through collaboration with the international community. But also the next area is for look at the individual, the role where individual countries then for play, for contribute to efforts them within they make for try for fight this global warming. That's something I therefore talk about. And the reason is, whereas the phenomenon of global climate change is global, however, the impact of the actions then where they don't actually take negative actions where they take towards the environment, that impact the local, so which means individual countries and the bear that suffering that pain there. So that's we'll get for look at today. So the first thing what I want to do here is that we'll say let's look at the global temperature. We say this now something where I do some program where I do, and I've been take some notes. So I will try more for share some information about it. So what did it lead to climate change now as a result of increase in global temperature? And the global temperature don't increase to a level would be to say the effect now they lead to other catastrophic events. And so we for long look at that. And the reason why what we try to do is very relevant is because I want to share ideas. It don't mean say where people go school and get master's degrees, get social, they for know everything. No. Because a lot of people focus on studying some things and we also they contribute towards society. So, but for me, whereas I do a lot of different stuff, but I also pay a lot of attention on climate change issues, environmental policies. I try to look at me on advanced research what I do now on environmental policies. And once I go on that side, I develop a lot of interest in looking at the environmental stuff the way they go around. And while I did it, so I grow so much interest that I think say the knowledge we acquire I need for sharing. because the problems will lead to global temperature, global warming, and eventually climate change and all this stuff them, not because of actions as humans. And further down the line, I believe say me advice, like if I come to Sierra Leone, to paramount chiefs, to leaders of communities, to councillors, mayors, and elected officials. My advice is people engage for act. People engage for educate each other. Because if they're not doing, not a problem. And for example, I can say I have the opportunity for look at something about the mangrove forest from the Yelboya, Tej, Guna, Bont. I look at some literature they would publish in relation to deforestation we don't carry out when people in Sierra Leoneans and I didn't do them. The mangroves in Sierra Leone, I think today within the 10 largest deposits of mangroves as a forest in the world. Africa, sorry, and one of the largest in the world. However, like other countries, we don't suffer seriously from that for deforestation of the mangrove plants. Then, Sierra Leone, now a typical example of that. Now, when I look at the data we then publish, some of the very sad information we have discovered was that it gets a catastrophic effect now the society or the environment inside the mangroves and the mangroves and they play a major role. For example, now a habitat for marine life, fish then they lay egg day, shrimps, oysters, the oysters, and you get I think crab as well. So this particular area, the destruction of that place, they cause a problem. Why? It affects the local economy. It affects, the opportunity for let people able to get resources, either food or for selling and get money, and also that area they also serve like a fortress for block, water, and that water where they block so it prevents flooding. Now the coastal settlements them where they in a them bond area all in pleasantly. So when they don't spoil them pleasantly, first of all, they find out say people them it affects their ability to get that fish or their marine life they use for sale, they get income, also food. So malnutrition they inside it. So the income level of the people it diminished significantly. Then they find out say the water with the can now, a lot of salt water they can inside it, so fresh water already again. And so that it affects a lot of things the ecosystem around that side. And so these are things where people don't know the effect. And when they see the flooding we don't take place on that side now as compared to decades ago, it will be different. And a lot of coastal settlements on that side and don't destroy them. But how people go able address them, practices them, where they're not knowledgeable about it, why the impact of the effect of the actions them. So that's not the type of do here. So this is not about tribe or region or party. This is about Sierra Leone and the wider world. So people over the area. For say the environment, they don't abuse them so much. And that abuse when they abuse them, the environment is fighting back. How they fight, it's a natural way. And so we see how the flooding they go. Coastal settlement they flood. Why? So because when the globe they hit, we see the glacier they melt, and we see how the Arctic Sea and all the ice cap they melt. That water they cause problem. And with the heat where they take place now, we contribute for all the melt, the water they expand. That expansion it affect coastal settlements then. So we see what did happen number 2 river. I get the video, it affect that area there. So that's why we need for educate we elected officials for say if they not act or let them pass laws them or the laws will then pass for enforce them, it will be a problem beyond which we will be able to address. And so this is a new effort for let us do that. So, like I said earlier, I want to first of all begin to look at global temperature. I mean, since the 1800s, you know. So since 1880 to present, we finally see global temperature for land and sea, it don't change significantly, you know, from the pre-industrial level to a warmer temperature level, you know. So the pre-industrial level, now before industries then come, before they begin to say they get factories, and before that then there is nothing within record in human history for say then get a consistent effort where then they burn something, where they send gases in space. That's never happened. So now from where the industry come, you know, like 1850, you know, above, then they begin to see how things that they change. So temperature anomalies were more obvious between 2015 and 2020. The reason why that happened is in 2015, now in the record as kind of the warmest kind of year in history. And from that moment, they look, say, okay, let we observe this, because they want to know what they're going to observe 2015 to 2020. It shows, say, the climate, you know, is warmer than more than 20 years combined. So if you look at before 2 decades back, before 2015, 2 decades back, if you put together the calculate, you put together the readings about climate, how climate will be warm, then 10 and 8. Just a period of 5 years between 2015 and 2020, then 5 years and the records say they're warmer than the way the climate been warm 20 years back, 2 decades back. And that was a very serious problem, you know. So that we for know. So 2015 was the warmest year in recorded global temperature history as compared to land and ocean temperature since 1880. Now we don't see a progress in a negative way, you know, how like this year be warm, 2023 was also recorded as the warmest, because still not a change. And so that's why within scientists they don't do, within international organizations they do, and the things they bring so they're very relevant for let people become aware, they become knowledgeable. Say the heat wave they cry, say, oh, this place hot today. You know, natural. Now because of reactions, now human beings they do this. And I know they just say them because I want to say them. It's because they don't prove them. That's why I say them. And so now, looking at the next thing, once the international community they agree, say, waiting they happen, so you know good, because the effect of where the globe they warm too much, you know, it causes a lot of problems, you know, and generally, basically, we feel the problem generally, but at individual countries, it gets your own effect. Sierra Leone get your own impact where they go. You go Liberia, people in the film, like I just made example of the mangroves. If you look at settlement and coastal settlements, Yelboya, Tekam, Tego, all the way and Abon districts, all the settlements by the coast, so then they suffer economically because they don't destroy that area, the mangrove forest. You know, the marine resources the way they rely on, they don't diminish them. And so if you don't cut the habitat, we say the fish they can lay egg, we say they able to get shrimp, we say they able to get certain things them when at the beginning, you know, of their life, so that they will expand and you will gain from them. Then eventually what will happen? You don't destroy your livelihood. And not to that no more. With the system flooding they come. So all incidents they are not natural. But ignorance, lack of knowledge, they lead to that. And that's why we have to expand the discussion. You know, because the elected officials, some of them don't even understand within a climate change. You know, the one they will understand, they know the act, there's inaction. You know. So we get to take that into consideration, you know. So if we get to replant the mangroves, think of replant them so that the environment will get to come back, and we come back now for the good of man, you know. So that's very important. Now, causes of climate change, generally, as I said earlier, you know, it's due to anthropogenic activities. Okay, they say anthropogenic activities, now they cause greenhouse gases them. Now they lead to greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, and this the record I'm saying now since the pre-industrial period. Okay, so and the key thing here is it's not just about the industries. It's because the industries there, they exist for support the economic, socio-economic needs of the people, of humans on Earth. In my last discussion, I made mention of population, and population increase, it cause a lot of damage, because we the humans there, the more the population they grow, they swell, the more people they born, now the more we will need resources then. You know, but the question is, how sustainable is this development? More people, more increase in needs of resources, but where would the sustainability come? And so that's why agriculture, people produce a lot of food, for them be able for down the argument of Thomas Malthus, for say the capacity, you know, the holding capacity of the world, you know, it will therefore be a problem if you get more people on Earth. And so it will be a lot of hunger, and people will go fight for food, people will go fight for water, people will go need a lot of places and for letting sleep, enough place for sleep. So which means they go cut the forest a lot, which means we're not going to get enough water, because too much, we'll get too many people and they will need for satisfy the island. So how we go to manage with water resources for address people that need them. So those are all the stuff, and because of the wire, so that's why they call it anthropogenic. That are the term where scientists then give, to say they are the ones that are responsible. The activities of humans are responsible for what? Climate change. Then they cause climate change. How? Because what would they do? It will lead to greenhouse gas emissions. Agriculture, they contribute 70% of greenhouse gases globally. If you look at internally, transportation, is the highest emitter. So we get the difference. If you look at individual countries, then transportation, now the key kind of condition where they lead to the highest greenhouse gas emissions. But when you look at globally, so transportation, why? Because we they use a lot of gas, and that gas when they use to it give carbon. They send carbon monoxide and they go up. You see, the other thing is, if we eat a lot of food, what they happen is we dispose a lot of them, and that food they wouldn't put, so it contributes to methane gas. You understand? So you see now, and if you look at the population, 7 billion people they eat every day. You know how much food and the waste, that waste food, it gets a tremendous impact, you know, for emit gases where they contribute to global warming. What about the industries and where they therefore manufacture goods them? So therefore use coal, you know, for do that. And what about electricity? What we need in the world? The highest kind of energy resource within the use in the West, now coal. You know, now coal, now the highest energy resource within the use for letting we electrify all the homes them. And that coal day, if like this out there, so you watch over not even a mile away, they see how the smoke they go up because they get coal plants. But now the only source standing for power all this, and we need the light for various purposes. We need energy, electricity, for a lot of reasons, the offices and everything. So you see, so that's why they say the causes of climate change now due to anthropogenic activities. You understand? You know, because now they emit greenhouse gases. You know, so that's the thing. So the increase in anthropogenic activities, they contribute to the increase in concentration of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, okay, to recorded levels in the last 800 years. You see, so for the last 800 years, the gases the way they don't emit the suboku in the atmosphere, and the impact of these gases on other human activities, when the anthropogenic activities, you know, so then basically then they absorb them at the climate system, and when they absorb them, that's how, you know, we get all this climate change since the 20th century until now, where the effects don't go beyond expectation. Now, that being said, I want to move on to another discussion about the actions where the international community don't take for combat or reinforce the agenda for address the issues. Now, one thing I want to say, a lot of people don't worry about the Millennium Development, and we don't worry about Sustainable Development Goals. So, in them goals, then the principal or key reason why they bring them here, now for make them go improve the quality of life of human beings, and by addressing certain things that they happen, we to say like fighting hunger, you know, for let people to get enough food for it, poverty, and also we also find out say, and at the same time for fighting the impact of human actions on the environment. So these are some of the things the actions they take. However, we find out say the effects of human actions they still persist, and that warrants for make organizations, institutions, and governments for come together and find solutions. Now, I want to go to the Paris Accord, or also referred to as the Paris Agreement of 2015. So, in 2015, having realized that global temperature since the 1880s to 2015, it don't be a problem, and it gets a major impact in human existence. So then come together, governments internationally come together and say they want for try by all means make global temperature don't go up to 2 degrees Celsius, because going to 2 degrees Celsius, it will be very catastrophic for human existence. So right now, this heat will feel so, you know, go globally, go to 2 degrees Celsius. And so they come together and meet in Paris, and then call the summit as the Paris Accord, also the Paris Agreement in 2015. Now, when they meet, they get into discussions. So a lot of people are there, but what they call acronym, what they call UNFCCC. The UNFCCC, which is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so the UNFCCC basically this kind of bring nations together, you know. Inside the nations then can agree say now the Paris Accord in 2015, you know, now a protocol, okay, for create a protocol where that protocol they where they call them as intended nationally determined contribution, okay. So through the UNFCCC, where nations they come together, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So that framework would then create so it further design kind of now they then form the agreement. Now that's what I have to say. So the agreements were then formed through the UNFCCC for say then go suggest individual countries that agree. Let me just say, individual countries that agree, for say, they get a responsibility for implement waiting then get na the Paris Accord. Because the intention of the NFCC now for make them go fight this particular bad thing where they go on for let them know globally let the globe not warm up to 2 degrees, okay, Celsius. But how they go able to carry that? And so the nations they agree for implement the Paris Accord in 2015. They use a protocol. This protocol now they call the INDC, when are the intended nationally determined contribution. So through this particular protocol is standard. The nations they agree for provide estimates of the level of global aggregates of greenhouse gas emissions, where they project say between 2025 and 2030, and this particular estimates, that aggregated, they're now based on individual countries, okay. So which means next year, starting from next year to 2030, they want to make sure say the nations therefore maintain that particular commitment where they make for say then go fight very hard, let the globe not warm beyond 2 degrees, Celsius. And then to come back, then can make that report. I hope say we understand what they say so. The efforts where the international community make for try for fight, let the globe not continue for warm. So in 2015, under the Paris agreement, they therefore then decide they agree for implement that Paris Accord, where now in 2015 for use a protocol, and that protocol lead and call them the INDC, and the meaning for INDC is the intended nationally determined contribution. So we can see nationally determined contribution, like Sierra Leone, now one of them. That was during the last administration. We said they agree say then go implement waiting they agree on. And for MEC, we go look at what they agree on. We therefore look at also the IPCC, I therefore can include them in this discussion, where they agree say the need for fight very hard, because the problem is global. However, the causes of this, what they cause this and global warming, now internal, the activities of countries are internally, now they cause them. So if they want to fix this problem, therefore look them also internally, but therefore agree on something and then come back at some point and try to see how then situation they really contribute for either fix the problem or contribute for aggravate the problem, So this narrative, waiting I want for say here also is I want for come to the IPCC. So the IPCC now, the question where people are for ask, or will get for ask yourself is that how nations are able to come up with the idea of saying that now so the globe don't warm, and at the same time they expect everybody for follow rules they will then create, where nations then go individually, they fight for develop them economies, for satisfy, for feed them people them, for through the activities they will do. Now the nations them, Western nations, the one they will grow and they grow. But the activities then they contribute to all this. But how can you stop them from doing this? Sometimes they need for see proof, they need for get concrete kind of evidence where we should say, even though now this one they do for improving our societies them. However, when our actions them, they contribute immensely for destroy other people's interest. And so in Paris also, so international government then come together, for allow people highly qualified scientists, because science now dey prove say the problem will be very serious. So international acclaimed scientists then, where they agree, the government of the world now they come together, then choose them scientists there for say, we give una the right, we allow una, for long una continue for study the environment and report to us and tell us how the globe dey warm, wetin dey happen, and then tell we wetin we need for it. And we know say scientists have been very important in this particular exercise. So this now bring me to the talk about IPCC. So the IPCC, when are the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, you know, the IPCC, it consists of a panel of scientists them, you know, where they create, and whether they create them, our governments them. This not true for say the West now create them, or Europe or something, no. This now all countries in the world, then governments them, including Sierra Leone, and then come together and agree say, then scientists there will trust them. The way the globe they go, the way the things they go, we are worried. So therefore, make we able to bring people and we will study more and report more. And so the IPCC now a group of scientists them, okay, now a panel of scientists them, where they create, and whether they create them, now government then create them. After where the Paris Agreement, they don't establish the Paris Agreement, okay? Now they or the Paris Accord, now they then form now they then form the UNFCC, and use UNFCC in under then create a protocol when at the INDC, the internally determined the INDC, the intended internally determined contribution. So in then create then groups there for down to local level, to national level, so they will able for basically fight the climate change. And as I speak, so between 2025 and 2030, we therefore see how which natures they don't do for address the climate change issue, so that the globe not will warm too much through human actions. So that's now something very relevant to I want to let one understand. So the Paris Agreement is very important. No say under and then creates the UNFCC, you know, when at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and under that now they will get the INDC, where even though the issue is global, but the implementation of within they find out and within they want to let them do is nationally local. But without them they able to prove say the globe be warm, the problem they without them able to do it. Now scientists them, and then scientists they the panel where government they create for let them do that job they. Where you say they read a lot of stuff them about global warming, climate change, then scientists they are not do it. And that group, that panel of scientists now they call IPCC, okay, where they do the job where at the top type for talk about so. Now if we look at under the next thing I want to discuss is about waiting because climate change and waiting at the impacts, you know, of climate change, you know, and I want to localize that discussion there now we country. So we don't agree say climate change not to natural, we don't agree say climate change not to natural causes, climate change not human activities that they cause them. Now, you know, due to all what you do, because we eat a lot of food to agriculture, and agriculture they contribute 70% of greenhouse gases. And we get in transportation because we therefore travel go everywhere, and we use gas, and that gas they emit carbon monoxide, where they contribute also. What about the houses then? We use coal for power the houses, we use natural gas for power the houses, so all down they contribute. What about off-road transportation? We have planes, and we get ships then where they travel now the seas and everything for carry food, carry stuff then. All they want then they contribute to for global warming, okay, for emit gas then. So these are all the human activities that they cause. And deforestation also is another problem, you know, because on the deforestation, because the solar radiation, you know, where they come out from space and come, you know, from the sun, they don't get side for stop. I mean, they don't get side for container, you know, and so the continued deforestation where they go on at the wall, that don't affect, the possibility for the forest then trap and create through a carbon sink within the bottom at the ground that they allow for let the globe not warm. But that don't happen. So that's what I agree. But now, with all within I don't say, we find out say the effect of the climate change is local. So every country get a responsibility for take concrete actions for letting fix the problem of climate change in diverse ways. Well, what I mean by fixing is for take actions in way we either mitigate or other actions that we need to say it will manage through for build resilience and let people resilience and people adapt, to which they happen to climate change. So because the rain where they come, we're not going to stop them. But if we not manage your environment or government not take actions, concrete actions them, we go address, go allow people them be able to live within that environment today. If I now say either through we construction like how Friton so the water they all over the place, they not get gutter them, they not get waterways so that the water will go, so people then just lock themselves indoors, and that they disturb movement and affect the local economy, right? So that so every government has a responsibility for do something, and that's why I'm trying to engage with the public and say the problem with the council is so severe that the local people, the ordinary people, are the ones that will be affected by this, because sometimes you as the ordinary guy, you not get the ability for get money, get food, get this already packed. So where the climate is affected, you suffer because you're locked indoors. Whereas the people away, the work, we get money within our high jobs and settle and wealthy, they're not the suffer. And so what is your role in this? First, you get to be educated about the problem where they for say this problem will start and it will stop. It will continue because they don't degrade the environment. But what we will do now, elected officials, people in way they make decisions then get a role for play for fix this problem. If they not do the problem will continue and the impact will be very catastrophic. So in this case, having talked about climate change, global warming and everything, I want to look at the impact of climate change, na Sierra Leone, or na the world generally, but I want to focus on Sierra Leone. So generally it's agreed that climate change, it lead to the variability of climate change, it don't lead to a very catastrophic effect, na the world. And in Sierra Leone, as an example, climate change don't affect Sierra Leone severely. I want to focus this side of discussion on Sierra Leone. Climate change don't affect Sierra Leone severely. How? So we agree say the variability of climate change, it lead to either extreme heat temperatures or it lead to heavier rainfalls. Okay, so now that's not the variability. So we either get a lot of rain or we get a lot of heat. So if you look at extreme temperatures as an impact of climate change, we don't see how the temperature don't go so high that it becomes unbearable to a lot of people. When we get extreme heat and dryness, that it cause heat hazards. It's not good for human health, and they also get some drought because we don't see certain kind of crops and they could grow them at some point where we know they can. But where the temperature is extreme, it affects the crop, irrespective of the type of crop. Okay, we see cassava in plant and dry season, but the effects of extreme temperatures now, we need to say the harmattan now will be the expect for able allow let them plant not a problem because the cassava no dey grow, and they can't talk about food security as an impact. So one of the serious impacts or effects of climate change now extreme temperatures, and when I see how the place is hot, so that one really hot. So now climate change now they cause them. I remember when we were young, as alone, the place not be hot, rich the way it rich today. Not to say it be. So when you see all that area like we college, everywhere, botanical garden, all them places they go take Turay, now next you know go get mine for work a go day because now forests. And this is a long time into. Okay. But the last time when I visited Sierra Leone, I see, we drive go all the way Turay to Leicester, no bush, no did again. And that's not good for the environment. And so when they don't cut the trees and they all along, so it gets an impact. So extreme temperature on one effect, and this temperature not go left until we human actions them we would address them. The other thing, other impact of climate change, now rainfall patterns. Now, many people would think say, this not just a natural occurrence. Now, because we don't abuse the environment as humans, so we get the rain, it will be either extreme or sometimes it will last longer or last late or it don't come enough. Okay, so climate change then cause that. So that notion we will get for say we get dry season, rainy season, that one they not get for work again. No. They get for write new geography books then. They not get for work again. We get dry season, rainy season. The reason why I say so, it's impossible. Like I think this recently, before even the rainy season they come, rain they begin come earlier. There be not say rain can McKinney. I'm surprised why I get that reports there few months back, where possible for let that happen first thing, but now it don't happen. So we find out say the rainfalls in pattern, the pattern will change, like it not happen like how we think or we feel. The rain, so they will come heavily to the extent that all man the grumble, like how the effect will just happen. So right now na salon and till the rain they come. And it's impossible to say this rain not go stop, you continue till December. Then they come and they happen. It can also be say the rain they come late. The time when they expect the rain for cannot they come. Or then they come where the rain not come heavy at all. And they not come boku. So if that happen, that's a big problem. Because to my next point, where the impact of another effect of climate change, food insecurity. Now we know say, like Sierra Leone, traditionally they say the bulk of the population of Sierra Leone reside in the rural areas. And when they ask the question, waiting at the occupation, the main occupation of Sierra Leoneans, or in many countries as it be, they say agriculture. People say government ain't giving jobs, but this is not something where a kind of practice they do for letting people survive. So agriculture they make. Now we don't see say agriculture don't be a problem due to a lot of factors then, and don't lead to food insecurity in the country. So if you get a lot of rain and flooding occur, so what they happen is the time when the plants rest, if at that time the rain don't boku too much, it can't go to rest, it spoil the crop, the plants. And so when time comes for harvest, then we will harvest enough. So this is a major problem. So food insecurity now a big problem. And also other food they only plant dry season. Where you don't need rain, but you also need the place for dry too much. So if it happen, then also the yields then will be very low or small compared to the population who will need for let they eat then satisfy them. The markets then will get enough food. Then they begin look at abroad for bring food for order for can support the population. And so the more the population of the country in Sierra Leone they increase, the more the problems, the more the need for food and also water. So like if we get an extreme temperatures, where the temperature high, it will also contribute. They also affect the water, water sources. The water they dry, So then they will look at the hydraulic cycle. Now that discussion, because with climate change, they occur and they increase in a negative way, we find out say it also affects our ability for getting enough water. So now the pressure will be on the government for let the able combine the water resources them so that it will provide water to the population. And this is a major issue, we certainly suffer from a lot, and the problem will continue. Another thing we don't happen at Salon, we don't see droughts they occur at Salon. Especially in the northwest of the country, when dry season comes, the place they hot too much, that dryness they lead to droughts where they make the ground they dry too much and they affect crop they wouldn't plant. Now, I'm not going to say much about storms. So for now, it's intermittent, but the potential they see, they will get a tropical kind of storm where go come. And there are reports of certain places in Caribbean district. There was a time where they destroyed Kamalo area, forest. How do you call it? Storm, the wind become, we've been destructive that area and destroy a lot of houses, and it happen from time to time. So let's watch them now in another impact of climate change. If I remember in this discussion a few days ago, I made mention of what they define which is the weather. Okay, so the variability of the atmospheric conditions where they happen at the atmosphere and wind in a part of them, and it can be a windy kind of period where they lead to anything catastrophic. So that's all in the climate change. So we therefore watch them. The other thing will be a major effect of climate change in Sierra Leone, and as it happens all over the world again, sea level rise. Okay, now the sea level rise is a big problem right now in Sierra Leone. If you look at the settlement, them like if you not get time, go Google information or go YouTube. Let you type how sea level they affect coastal settlement them in Sierra Leone. Like look at the Bond area. It will feel bad. And I know they say in a way, I want to let people know say it's happening in Sierra Leone. Sea level rise they happen in Sierra Leone, and they destroy the areas. Water, they take over settlement the way they by the coast or then small island. If small rain come and wind come during certain seasons, all them places they become inundated with water. It's happening now. If we look at even the coastal area of Freetown, the city, or the coastal area, then settlement they build, then buildings, all their structures, a lot of them don't go. We see number 2 river is seriously affected. I gave videos and for proof that. Now, it affect the local economy. It affect the businesses they wait in another place. It affect tourism because they see the rise. And that sea level rise for how we will address things in the day through mitigation or adaptation measures so that we will continue to do. I will therefore do another presentation in that. But I want to know say one sea level rise is a major problem, and from where they begin study say global warming only take place, beyond the pre-industrial days, we find out say the sea don't rise to I think 0.8 something, so that's not a problem, because if the sea continue to rise, it gets a major catastrophic outcome in communities there where people say they always live around the areas and they affect the fishing industry as well, because when water they come out, they come to levels that they're not supposed for day, it affects also communities the way they in the area, and the way a lot of times they reside near that water. Now people the way they survive through fishery, fishing. Now they survive. So as I don't say, I just don't identify or discuss a number of issues and way to say they happen in our country as the effect of climate change. Extreme temperatures, don't occur naturally due to climate change. Rain patterns them. We see how the rain don't day, it come heavier than it will come. Now it continue for Sunday, they continue for go beyond the time where the rain for the come. It affects a lot of things they wouldn't do. Or sometimes either the rain they late for come, or they go beyond the time where for come, or they come heavier, or then they come will be to say the rain they come very little. And the people will want that rain day because we need them for agriculture, we need them for lead and stabilize the water table, because this water will they use it in at the ground. So the more the water they come, if they go on the ground, now so then we able to pull them back for lead and support people. You know, otherwise, if the nation don't get enough water resources, now other problem. The other thing is we identify droughts they come as a result of climate change, where the heat they come. I mean the place they dry, rain no get for calm. You know, there are predictions in the northwest of the country. If people then continue for do certain things, and for instance like charcoal burning, and they cut all the forests, cut all the trees them, then that therefore continue for affect that area. One day, and it's coming. It's already been predicted. It will happen. Dryness will come at the northwest of the country, and to the extent that people will really struggle for do a lot of stuff here. So I want to let you know that it's already been predicted. Then storms, now other effects, you know, wind wave destructive and sea level rise. Okay, so these now the things that we identify as the impact of climate change naturally. Then I want to look at them which kind of sectors them where will be affected by climate change in Sierra Leone. So based on what I don't say, a lot climate change they affect every part of Sierra Leone, everything in Sierra Leone. But I want to limit myself into specific things, because as I've been saying before, this is a classroom kind of presentation. You know, I just want to create the awareness. You know, let we know say problem day now we don't step, and whether people then go listen, then go agree, there's a problem, and so we therefore create awareness. So the sectors them of society where climate change will affect bitterly in Sierra Leone, agriculture. Okay, even now with the rain and it come heavily, it affects places that we don't flood, they're not going to plant rest. So if you continue till next month, it don't make for plant the rest don't late, and that's my problem. It lead to what I've been saying about food, it creates food security issues. What about the water resources? Water resources are affected. We will get extreme temperature, and at the same time there's drought. So if rain did not come, like how in the council right now, the water table them they will be affected, and yeah, so that's not a major problem. So water resources would be affected in Sierra Leone. Now for instance, we need rain so that it go then we rivers them, if lakes then they go there, and it also even increase the sea will get all our water. But more so one let the rain come so that water table content will get a lot of water. So the water well then later we then dig now, then pull water. We need the water for everything. But we believe say, and it's true, climate change they affect water resources. And when the water resources are affected, there's a problem. Now for instance, I believe say either in villages or other parts of the country, people they may get streams or they may get rivers, but they don't see the river then they dry. They don't see the streams they say them they go worse, say them they get water, say them they brook and stop them, all they dry. So a lot of people then they ask questions, why would they get this? And I want to tell when I say now climate change the cause. The more the globe they warm, will they get more evaporation, you know, and I say I'll therefore be a discussion on the hydraulic cycle, you know, and when I give a discussion on the hydraulic cycle, then we'll understand why other places they dry. I give you an example. When I listen to Bio, when they talk about say the price of rice no will change, and they promise that lady will ask the question, say the price of rice not will change, it will continue, because Susan and go buy China other places them that place then they spend a lot for do the agriculture. But so the message is here, and I know they talk because I watch on a newspaper, so I do them academically. Now in the east, you know, in Southeast Asia, Usai, Bio, they talk about Susan and go buy rice. Them place in the whether not Vietnam, Thailand, other places, and they take on China. They get a common river. I missed the name, either the Gong River or something, but I'll verify that. You know, that river is a major source of water. You understand? For where they practice agriculture. And traditionally, they also will get a lot of rain, the monsoon rain, for where they practice agriculture. And so the other thing we then do is, they have, when I get to ask certain questions about how we will fix our loan, and so they already don't design systems in place. For instance, they get integrated integrated climate adaptation systems for fixing problems. Then get ready-made, readily available irrigation systems. So where it be to say, then they trap the water, then they save the water, and then they able to distribute the water, not to free, you know, but then get away with and manage the water resources, where they're able to practice agriculture sufficiently. Now, what you find out is, them places then the water they dry already. And when I watch the video during a course where I do when I World Bank kind of organized that course day, you know, I really feel bad because I just they look at the impact of this in countries they outside places that they say people they don't feel so lazy to some extent leaders them for encourage them some them citizens them for farm like how you be they say passing go buy rest where we get 54 million hectares of land for agriculture, but you know they encourage people for farm instead. Then they take that money. If you take 200 million, okay, you go buy rest. If you buy tractors, you buy all harvesters and implements, which make maybe practice agriculture at loss because we can't do harvesting, we not get harvesters in the country, you know. So now what did happen is the place you side and they produce stress and they grumble because they already get water. The people are ready, but the water don't begin dry. Now the sea, now the river, that main river there, and that river there it run across many states, them countries, them across that side. Now people inside to say they don't even get mind for going inside. Now the water there, the place dry, and so this water now a big problem. And if we not take 10, then 10 get for come, we just say rain they not come at all. And we not get we resources them together, it will be a problem. So a major area where will be climate change will affect naturally now water resources. Right now, dry season, water problem there. But what about we will get dryness for a long period of time? That would be a problem. Now, human health is a major area also we want let people understand. The human health is critical. When the rain they cancel, due to climate change heavily, it bring a lot of diseases, vector diseases. So we see cholera, dysentery, and also even mosquitoes. There have been records in Southeast Asia and everything for say heavier rainfalls and they contribute to a lot of diseases and sicknesses there. And malaria are one of that one day. And other diseases that they come, we to say due to all this flooding, the water they bring bacteria and other stuff them, we people they forget kind of different diseases the way something they don't even know about. So climate change is a major problem. But what about heat hazards? You know, climate change they kill. I mean heat they kill because every year the health of the people is affected severely because you know when the place hot too much, you know we find out the people away critically they suffer. The children, older people, as well as people away, the health frail, the sick, they will be affected. You know, biodiversity is another one. You know, climate change they affect biodiversity. You know, of the nation of we country. Then the ecosystem as well, ecosystem services. Then to the day now other different presentations I will find time. So these are the effects of that. Now, you know. Another thing where I want to note, like I don't talk about, but I want to include another is that the climate change, you know, where they lead to like changes in weather events, it also they affect, it lead to wider economic losses for the country, you know, because let's imagine where the rain will come heavily in this year. A lot of people in the indoors, they're not going to go out. So they only rely for good sell in the market before they eat. They don't get anything when they don't prepare and put up. So you see how the problem is. So economically, not the individuals are losing, and the local economy they lost. Then if we get a situation where the rains are so heavy that they wash bridges away. So how do you, the value chain, how do you transport food or even try for engage in promoting or providing services in an event, maybe to say, like, if you're not a doctor, how you go to hospital to go perform a surgery, and we don't see the central hospital in Sierra Leone is flooded, so all incident. But I'm looking at the business community. Businesses are affected seriously due to changes in the weather events, right? So that's not a big problem, so there are also other consequences of climate change, in Sierra Leone. So there are other consequences of climate change in Sierra Leone. Now, for instance, we see, say, climate change don't lead to a decline in crop yields. Cassava, now one of the decline, because there's been a kind of a decline in the Harmattan period. So we're not long like before, a very short now. And heat also is recorded during the Harmattan period, due to climate change. So the cassava no need water and it won't let the soil moist. But that's not happening as it used to. So that's now some of the consequences of climate change as well. So I will not talk about water resources as a major consequence of climate change. Diseases, then they move to a new range. That's also. And when you look at like what I've been talking about, the biodiversity is affected due to climate change. So we they see animals, we see trees, then we play a major role in controlling the heat, for trap the carbon. So that's all long go. And we actions in that respect because a major problem, So if the ecosystem services where we rely on, like water and food, they are affected, and it gets a major impact in us as well. So sea level rise, malnutrition. So malnutrition is a major problem in Sierra Leone. Why? Because of food insufficiency. So we see, say, 82% of the population in Sierra Leone, then they suffer seriously from food insufficiency. 82%. Nationally, 82% of households, then they suffer from food insufficiency. And that's my problem. So when people are not getting enough food for eat, so obviously, especially certain members of our community, when are children, it affects them bitterly. Because children, they need for eat and drink water a lot. Children, they drink water more than adults. And then lack for eat. And not to lack for eat no more, but they need food. But what you find out is, as of 2022, they say, according to studies where they carry out, about 176,362 children, I repeat, 176,362 children, they suffer from malnutrition. So this was in 2022. So what about 2023 and to date? Maybe we talk about over 200 to 300,000 children that suffer from malnutrition. And malnutrition because nutrition and food. If we don't get enough food, basically they find out, say, we nutrition kind of practice, as I can say, it be affected. And when it's affected, when we not go get the right nutrients, we go enable us for be healthy. And when people not eat the right type of food, not only for eat, that will affect the health system. And that's my problem. And what will happen when you get over 170,000 beginning, they're malnourished? There's a problem. It can lead to very catastrophic outcomes. But also, let's look at, in this figure, there are certain children picking a knee, where you say the cases the most severe. So they find out, say, out of this 176,362 picking them, where they say they're malnourished, 63,362 of those children, they're severely malnourished. 63,000 severe malnourished. So, you know, when they say severe, so you don't reach a level where you say, if they don't take action, it will be very fatal. And so, the people them, I don't say quite a lot. Me, what I do now is being a Sierra Leonean, you know, and I did out of Sierra Leone, and I know the consequences of within climate change, the cause, the problems that already happen currently, you know, in the country, the lack of resources, you know, with all that, yet people they're ready, they elect the country. I believe that. And so, mere efforts now for make I try for can engage with you now and give you information for answer certain questions. Questions like, why would they get a lot of rain? Rain was so destructive, people are not even come out. Why would they get that rain day? You know, so that now the role that one the way I say I play now. Me people I believe say a lot of people will not be know what's in a climate change, why hits a lot of hits they come, why a lot of rain they come, they don't know. Many don't know. People will not be they put together which will be the effect of climate change as they know and now when I don't get that information there. And also I also bring concrete figures where which is I tell you I say 82% of of households, the entire Sierra Leone, they suffer from food insufficiency. And I bring the issues of malnutrition, you know, to say we're picking them, people are not malnutrition cases, them 176,000 as of 2022. 2023, I not get them, I will try to look at them and bring them up in a later discussion in 2024 as well. But also we don't see the severe case of malnutrition. The other thing where I talk about here is we for no say where food not in the country, you know, it is due to a lot of factors then, you know, and climate change is just one of them. They're not going to produce enough. But then the bigger problem here is the resources they will need, whether now food, now water, and shelter, all that thing, and the increase in population of Sierra Leone, and it contributes for layer we affect, I mean for layer we get problems. And so we get what we call ecosystem services. The ecosystem services will be to say we either it be food or water. We get food in different way, either agriculture. Also we get an bush for do certain things, them either the meat or the thing. But then species they, you know, we can create problems if we do more for destroy them. And what about we shelter? You know, so people they get for use the environment for create developments for let people in Udede and jobs and everything. Their actions then get a major impact. Now we own now to we self. And so all these things where they say so, if we get a situation, we'll get a government, we'll get administration, we'll get leaders them, we're able to review them here, because it's not sufficient for letting you say no more, you want to be president, you want to be a member of parliament, you want to be a councillor, you want to be anything without put the people in first. And only we'll get leaders, they will put the people in first, then they will look at it here because they become selfless and say, this particular circumstance, this country will get so, now we country and we will be servants of the people. For MEC, we go able to look at critically. To this day, I don't see anything them way I believe say go address the climate change issue. I don't read a lot. I don't do a research on a lot of stuff there. I don't see the country not get an integrated climate change kind of agenda where they look at how they will mitigate climate change effects, and also how they will build the resilience for let people and be able to adapt to the vulnerability of climate change. You know, all the threats they will climate change pose, it not happen. Now, for instance, we look at what happened at Freetown. All that flooding they not for happen. Okay, the flooding at Freetown not for happen. Why? Because the government need for come up with ideas. They need for prepare and fix that problem there. And I can challenge everybody in that. You know why? Because one, we look at the population in Freetown, it increases every now and then. Government get the rights for put laws And the laws that exist, that na me research. Now they are research on the PhD. The laws that exist. And some of the findings them, if you get the opportunity for reading the book, you will see them. And I will get for present this one day. You know, the laws, they're old and they not implement them. They not the act for let them protect the people. People in the bill who say they want bill. People in the bill na land them where they're not supposed to build. People in the reside in areas they say they're not supposed to reside. You know, people and they destroy the waterway. The water gets a natural pathway they go, and they know. But then they allow them build due to either criminal behavior of people that will don't force dead and they sell, give people them, and they along the way the people and they put themselves in danger. You know, we not get kind of runoff areas then where the water will even go, so we come it will even empty. If you look at the location of the city, it's located in a very, very complicated geographical area. Looking at the population where they right now, the population don't boku. You can't stop the people from coming to Freetown or force them for come out. But you have the right for say that area they no go did. So we are not supposed to did it. It can go who I want go. But when you left farm, then you say then people and talk to them don't agree. No, you get for bring the laws, for let you enforce the laws. Government get the right. But successive governments in Sierra Leone, for a long time, it's not an SLPP problem only, but they don't do anything for letting them go save the environment. Okay? So when people in Boku and laws are not there, no problem. And you know, there are predictions already. The hardships where they go on in the country. Okay, in Sierra Leone are one of them. The population now the countryside, they therefore become smaller than the population within the city. And why? Because now they're not the only place where they feel say the economic and social needs then we will address them. And so the problem will therefore increase. So we have a study also kind of resilient cities where how you go able to make the threat of climate change basically will be addressed by making your city resilient to the vulnerability of climate change. That's how that discussion we're going to bring, and that's when I would see say why the threats we Freetown get. Freetown get a major threat because we find out say the people in Boku and the residential areas are very small and limited, and so people in the Gona areas are way dangerous for live, and so that particular action then a problem. But the question is, what is the role of government in this case? And government for act. The laws they day, place the way they day, you have to take the hard decisions, you know. Why the landing in different big towns in the country where people can go to decide and do their stuff there. So if you come in at the city and you endanger yourself, the government get a responsibility for stop you. They get a responsibility to pass laws for outlaw, let people not live in Aboku areas then. Give time frame. When they're not accommodate, then take action for remove them. And also, if that's not the case, then also get for make the laws and enforce them in a way people are reprimanded for residing and living in areas the way dangerous, where people say live in a flood plains them. You know, we don't get warning kind of thing. Like from tomorrow to Friday, it's going to be a storm. Storm they come to Virginia, DC, all this stuff in the Maryland. Already in some parts of Alexander, here in Virginia, they don't announce for all the residents then we get business and dwelling buildings them make them go take sand for go block the area because they get a flood plain at the area. You know, every time we storm come it happen. So people are warned. So people are able to move. They go to higher ground. They go able to come out. They don't say areas the way much light go there and commodity. You know, I'll just give an example. But this is not happening. So what is happening in Sierra Leone now? Thing will be to say the government don't care. And they don't care because until you get for do what you do for engage with people within places them where expert them across the country, then you will not say Sierra Leone get a problem. Now I want for also before I end this, I want for say Sierra Leone now one of the three countries them, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau and Bangladesh, where they say they get the potential for experience the most serious adverse effect of climate change. Why? Climate change they affect every country in the world. But a lot of countries then, including Liberia, they have the readiness. They are people, they are citizens, and they are politicians. They make sure say they're ready for catastrophe them when they come due to climate change. Sierra Leone not ready. Now, for instance, in Liberia, they have high deposits of a forest when at the rubber plantation. That forest, they act for make the carbon sink. So when the sun they come, I'm not saying Liberia, Sierra Leone one past Liberia, not so hard to say, not so that I mean. But the forest, they not abuse the forest. They not give the forest to Chinese investors or unscrupulous people for cut. Sierra Leone, they not care. So either due to lack of what is an energy policy where they don't know how to provide energy so that they could support the people. So for cook, now wood no more than the use of charcoal. So the whole country is now destroyed due to charcoal business. Put local now the worst. Okay, so they find out say the place is dry, and at the same time the potential day for let that dryness continue. Okay, so what did happen is not to accident. Laws they know they implement the laws. Laws are old, and the government need to do something. Not only Mother Bureau government, but every government for do that in the interest of the people. You know, so that's very important. But Liberia, they get a forest. So the only place where forest is now where they bush for passing I think them Young Kailau area. You know, and so the threats of climate change is real. Sierra Leone is a target for climate change because the authorities they go conference them, they go summit them, they get per DM them, they come. They don't implement anything. They don't engage with the people anyway. And this is a big problem. And so I want to say there is something when they talk about climate change and say climate injustice. Okay, environmental injustice. It's not climate, environmental injustice where they happen. Okay. Now, whereas climate change is a problem where due to reactions them, but the injustice where they happen is the people where they suffer most due to climate change, these are ordinary people where the government of the day supposed to take up actions them for mitigate the effects of climate change, and at the same time for ensure say they build up the resilience where go able to make people adapt, okay, to that. It's not difficult for experts to say, will you hold them a bailer if the place is flood, and then they study how that place they go continue for flood. Let them accommodate. You get the power for that. Salon not get a warning systems. They not invest in that. We don't get any technology where they warn the people where they prepare the people for major climatic effects conditions and will go affect that country. We don't have them. So leaders in Sierra Leone are not ready for let them protect the people. That's now you make them designate salons in one of them. They understand say the environment in Sierra Leone is one of the most seriously degraded environments in the world. You look at the peninsula, it's been severely degraded. In two ways. They make sure say they not only cut the trees them, but they also don't remove the rocks, the stones, then they hold the soil. So Salon, if you get that earthquake when they talk say Kamakeni, it's not really Kamakeni. Now just then funny stuff then come. The thing happen at the sea, but it also get an effect in Guinea-Bissau. So let's imagine say it gets a major kind of effect, it be very active, Namakeni or any part of Salon. The death then will be too much. Why? Because the authorities they sit down people and they use stone them, then they broke them everywhere in the country, especially in the city of Freetown. And so they broke the rock there, then cut them trees them, then people and they drag dirty, then build us. Salon na a problem. They know that. That's why they say Salon gets any major climatic event or condition can happen at Salon anytime, just like other mudslides happen. Salon is a ready-made country for a catastrophic climate effect. That's why they say that. Because the laws then say they already act. And also then they allow unscrupulous investors then for can destroy the country. We look at Rokel, they talk about we had in this year, they read the paper then. The Chinese then they ignore the laws where they create environmental laws there. They mine na Rokel River, they pollute that water there, they destroy the ecosystem. Because they use chemicals, not the river. And that chemical they use is very potent and bad for the life where like fish, shrimps or crab. And this is a delicacy for the local economy. I mean, look, the people in that area, they go fish, they go eat them and they sell. And then go wash the water, but now the water na chemical. And then go wash it again. What about for drink? Then go drink the water, then go wash it. But now they're not going able to. So when the locals they talk, the Chinese then ignore them. For the little change within the big government, and government they put under their pockets them, where the people know the benefits. So all things here, the destruction of the environment in Sierra Leone is real. And Salone, the leadership now care, and this they affect the country, and we therefore bring them to the notice of the country. For say, whether na SLPP, na APC or nobody, this is not about tribe, this is not about region, this is about Sierra Leone. A day would come when people would call and say, oh, you want us, you told us. And I want to say again, there's been warning, up to 2030, and I will therefore make the reference, one day I will find out, refer them in my next appearance, I will try. Would I present that study there? The country need for do something, for try for reverse the heat by planting trees across the country. Therefore plant trees across the country. Therefore change the laws them. For reprimand people, they find them huge, thousands of dollars. They want to violate the deforestate and destroy the environment. They have to do that. But if they don't reverse the destruction where they go on, they allow the Chinese and they go cut the trees them. China, they not they get mine cut the forest. They not get that mine, but you allow the Chinese and deforestate Sierra Leone as a source of income. Then they go conference them na Dubai, they go conference there na Kenya, they still in front seat. They say environmentally conscious. He has nothing where you understand about the environment. And so therefore, I'm educating the public. This is not about government. The public wanna take care of the environment. If you there na bo, then they see people and they cut stick, tell them say we not cut this stick because it affect we na bo. It is Kenima, it is Chokolili, it is Puloko. Because the heat get for come more, the place go dry more, and food go short. If rain and they can more, destroy mobility and everything, and people and they suffer more. So the things that where they talk about, they are real, they are happening, but who is there to for echo them, let the people know? And that's why I'm asking you, where you say share me audios, share me thing. I'm here for performing a mission where I believe say it will help. If somebody comes to you next time, now APC leader, say the environment, somebody say the environment are the most serious challenge our nation face. No challenge not the way Salone face like the environment. They talk about all the time. I carry the study, I know what I'm talking about. I interviewed many people where they are the environment. Some are elected officials. They are frustrated with the environmental problems with the Ghana Sierra Leone and the lack of action. Inaction is a problem. So if you're in a village, you're in a town, wherever you there, no say the environment, it belongs to you, now all man get them. If you not take and find, the environment no go take you fine, they fight back. So in Sierra Leone, I understand the economy is so bad, people in the use the environment as a source of living, 100% in some areas. However, if it continues, it's going to be a problem. So I want to stop now, but the questions I get for ask, and in our discussion will be, what are the future impacts of climate change in Sierra Leone? How climate change will impact Sierra Leone in our next discussion. Would they will be mostly affected by this climate change? And would they supposed to act? Is it only the government, the business people, the unscrupulous business people who they come abroad for come destroy the environment in Sierra Leone? The Chinese them, now the that western part, then they cut the rock them, then load the rock, then they cut them big like a container, they take on a China for go make then ceramic with itself, then they sell, they destroy the country. I get that video there. Yes, because some of we who in social media, people and believe with it, they would get the information. I get that video, we see me go nearly cry. The rock, a big like container, then they drag out and can't put them and they ship them, they carry them to China. So imagine earthquake happen at Sierra Leone, the catastrophe will it cause. In addition to the local people, they will rely on broken stones for survive. And the trees then don't cut them. The soil don't expose. A catastrophe. So we therefore act. The local people, not for faith, not to fight business, but love create the awareness so that we will save Sierra Leone. This now the message I get today. When I thank you.